Hello, this is Alex from ONG Tax and Accounting Services. So in this video, I talked about royalty payment for sales that you make on US Kindle store, which are generally subject to 30% withholding unless your country have a tax treaty with the US, which could provide a reduced rate, for the US taxes that's being withheld from your royalty income. Now, to start off, let me throw a word of caution out there that this video is for educational purposes only, and it is not meant to be a legal or tax advice. And if at any point in time you need a legal or tax advice, you should always consult with a competent attorney or CPA who can listen to you and help you out. Now, this video also talks about the fact that if you're a foreign person or non-resident alien and you're receiving these types of income, which is the royalty income, you cannot form a single member LLC to simply stop the withholding, okay? Because a foreign-owned single member LLC is not a U.S. person, as it is a pass-through entity. So we look at your country of residence, where you're located, to determine your country of residency. Therefore, if you're completing some of this W-8 or W-9 form, and especially most people go on there and complete W-9, saying that they're a U.S. person, and so that kind of blocks to the withholding, or it avoids the withholding, right? Now, if you're a foreign person with a U.S. single member LLC, you should not be completing W-9 to block the withholding. You should be completing W-8. On the W-8, you're going to specify which country you come from, your permanent residency, and the payer, which is Amazon in this instance, is going to use that information to do the correct withholding. So for example, if you complete these forms accurately and you say that you're from Brazil or Argentina or any country that does not have a tax treaty with the US, then Amazon will look at the W-8 form you completed and then withhold 30% from your royalties, and you don't get any income tax treaty provision or any reduced provision because you're not from an income tax treaty country. Okay. So in this case, when you go on there, okay, and you complete the form as if you're a US person, whether you're doing it accidentally or you're doing it, or you're intentionally doing it, you got to know that the moment you use W-9, you're perjuring yourself. The warnings on the W-9 ask you, you got to make sure that you're a U.S. person completing the form. So if you're not a U.S. person, you should not be completing a W-9. And also based on the fact, just, merely by forming an LLC, a single member LLC for that instance does not make you a U.S. person. So the correct form you should be completing is W-8, not W-9. Okay. Now, what happens when you had, let's just say you didn't know that you had to complete W-8 and you complete W-9 and the withholding was blocked, and so Amazon did not take withholding. What are you going to do? Now, what you have to do is that you have to file a 1040 NR and pay the required taxes to the IRS, because ideally Amazon should have withheld the 30%, but because of the information you provided, that 30% was not withheld. And so you have to file a 1040 NR and then declare those royalty income. And then when you declare the royalty income, you're going to pay the 30% back to the IRS. So that is, the simple solution to cases where you've provided wrong information to block, the withholding taxes on the royalties you're receiving. Now, on this same video, I got some questions, and one of the questions I'm going to try to address is this one. Person was asking whether he will be able to avoid the 30% withholding if the LLC has an American as a partner. Now, that's a very good question. Again, if you're a foreign person who has, entered into a partnership with a U.S. partner or U.S. person, that still does not change how you as a foreign person is taxed here in the U.S. Okay. It also does not change the pass-through effect of the type of income that you're receiving. So for example, we take a partner A who is a U.S. person, we take partner B who is a foreign person, and they all receive, let's just say the partnership receive $100, okay? And let's just say that, for simplicity's sake, let's say profit and losses are shared 50-50 between the foreign partner and then the US person, okay? So when the partnership gets $100, the foreign partner is going to get $50 of that royalties, and then the US person is going to get $50 of that. Each of these persons or each of these taxpayers need to determine how this income is taxed to them in their home country, okay? So for example, a US person is taxed on all his worldwide income, okay? So worldwide income includes income that's made in the US and those made outside of the US. All of them come together and will be taxed in the US if this person is a US person. With regards to a foreign person, foreign persons are taxed on two types of income. One, income that is effectively connected to US trade or business, which is out of scope for this video. And then the second one is income that is not effectively connected, which is the FDAP income. And the FDAP income includes the dividends, the interest, the royalties. So in this video, we're talking about royalties. So if you're a foreign person and you're receiving royalties from a US partnership where that royalty came from US sources, then you need to look at the default rate if you're not from a treaty country. And again, the default rate is 30%. So in the example I gave, where a foreign person is receiving $50 of the partnership royalties, or the royalties that the partnership received, the partnership itself should be able to determine the tax status or the tax residency of each of its partners. Okay, so whenever the partnership itself is going to distribute the royalty money to the foreign person, the partnership must take the responsibility of withholding the correct tax rate. Okay, so for example, again, going back to that $50 example, if you are the foreign person about to receive your share of the $50, the partnership itself at the LLC level, the LLC needs to make sure that it has taken its proper taxes that it needs to withhold before it gives you the rest. Okay, so in this case, $50 is coming to you, but you're not going to get all the $50. The partnership is going to deduct the 30% if you're from a country that does not have a treaty, and then gives you the rest of your money. If you're from a country that has a treaty rate, then, in that case, the partnership would not withhold 30%. It's probably going to withhold a lower tax rate, right? Sometimes it's 10%, 15%, or 5%. You just have to look at the treaty table, which you can see on your screen, okay? So again, if you are in a partnership, it really doesn't matter whether the partnership has a US partner or not. You have to determine the type of income you're receiving, and also ask yourself, how would the US tax this type of income if it's going out to a foreign person? And in this case, you have a royalty income, and if the royalty income is from US sources and is going to a foreign person, then a proper withholding needs to be done by whoever is paying it, okay? So let's just say you formed an LLC, multiple member LLC, you decided to sell on Amazon, and then during the tax interview, you claim that the partnership is a US person, which is obviously correct because a partnership can complete W-9, okay? So you complete the W-9, it stops the withholding, it tells Amazon not to withhold, but then what happens when the money comes into the actual partnership LLC? That is where the withholding takes place. Now, you've taken that responsibility of withholding from Amazon and you've redirected that withholding responsibility to your LLC. So your LLC needs to figure out what rate of withholding it's going to do for all of its foreign partners. So it's as simple as that. LLC needs to pay the proper withholding taxes directly to the IRS before you, the foreign person, get your share of the royalty income. Okay, so I hope this helps out, and if it does, please click like, subscribe, and I'll come to you with another video. Thank you. Bye.